History is repeating itself, almost exactly. And as we find ourselves here in the middle of 2021, I'm going to point to one specific point in time in 2017 and show you how we are literally following in the same footsteps as the last bull run. And that based on this particular analysis, we can make a fact-based assumption as to where this cycle might top out. That's right, today I'm telling you how this particular correction was in the cards if you look back at the 2017 bull run, and that we can now look to a very specific number to find out exactly where Bitcoin is going to top. We also have some insane altcoin news. You're definitely going to want to watch this one front to back because it's packed with value. If you guys are excited, go ahead, destroy that like button. And remember, as always, each and every comment below this video is entered to win your very own hardware wallet. With that said, let's dive in. Now, what we have here is the 2017 bull run. And what you see here in this blue line is when we actually first broke out from our previous all-time high. Now, this time we flirted with the prior all-time high, got rejected. This was around December, and then we broke through it convincingly much earlier than we had originally done it. Whereas you can see the clean break here is in actually mid to late April, where you could see the rejection here around March or February. So based on a calendar year, we're tracking several months earlier than the previous bull run. With that in mind, we need to understand where these big washouts, where these big corrections actually occurred. And the easiest way to calculate this is in comparison in relation to the prior all-time high, which I have marked here on this blue line around 1160. Now, what we see here is that from 1160 up to about $3,000, we have just about a 3x, less than that to be honest, but it's just shy of a 3x here from prior all-time high up to where we really began this more significant correction. We even had a pretty significant few day correction here that took us about 32% down. So maybe it's fair to correlate this initial correction here from about, 2750 all the way down to about, what was this, 1700, and then pop back up. Maybe that was our little 40K drop here. Regardless, what we see is that we ended up coming from about a 3x from prior all-time high all the way down, in this particular case, almost 40%. What would be the 40% drop here? Well, we're looking at $36,000 if we were to do a 40% correction from this level. For easy, clean math, this is 60K times 0.6. That's not really the exact math, but anyway, the point is, what can we see here is that in June of 2017, we had this very similar correction as we were reaching a very similar extrapolation from prior all-time high. We were definitely under a 3x here at about 58K. It was not a full 3x. And you can see here that this was not a full 3x over the prior all-time high either. If we look at this chart and zoom out, we see that this June correction is back here. And from the bottom here, we got pretty much a little over a full 10x growth with 1,020% growth. This June correction just led to some serious bullish moves. Obviously not all at once. There was two more meaningful pullbacks after that. But what you see here is that this June correction, about 3x over the prior all-time high, is part of the design here of these bull runs. And that right now, as we're looking at a correction, right now it's only a correction of about, what is this, 27% or so? Yeah, 27% on the button. And so while this is painful, the reality is that there is quite a bit of support here in the low 40,000s, pretty much 39,000. And so while we're getting lower highs here, and this is a series of red candles, the reality is that this is not too dissimilar from what happened here in June of 2017. In my opinion, this is a very corollary moment in the bull run. We know we're tracking a little faster and sooner. And so this type of comparison and historical analysis makes me feel a lot more comfortable knowing that we haven't corrected any more significantly, and that June correction led to a 10x growth afterwards. And I do believe that if this plays out similar to 2017, that would give us a fair indication of where we can assume that this bull run might go. So let's go ahead and just run through the math here. If we were to take here a $58,500 Bitcoin, just for rough and easy numbers, and we were to take a 40% correction here, multiplying that by 0.6, what we get is a 35.1K Bitcoin. That would essentially be the exact mathematical approach to calculate what could happen this time if we repeat those lows. Now, if we don't repeat those lows and correct as much, the upward volatility might not also be as much, but let's just go ahead and repeat the same 10x after that. And what we get here is that this is pointing towards a $350,000 blow off top for this cycle if we repeat the same trajectory that we had in 2017. The reality is that things look a lot like they did before, very similarly. So seeing there be some kind of parabolic blow off top like this would not surprise me at all. And it's important to realize that we have not seen any top signals like this huge collapse of Bitcoin and a total failure to get back up there to those highs. We also have not seen the altcoin gigapump that we know happened all throughout this period while Bitcoin was on its decline. we saw alts go absolutely parabolic. All of those signs have not revealed themselves, and so I think this is playing quite similarly to the way that alts were in 2017. We also have the spent output profit ratio, or SOPR, that has seen a full reset. As you can see from this chart, this is the lowest that this has gone in 5 months, meaning that Bitcoin wallets are not moving around in so much profits. And that's really important, that people aren't sitting on a ton of unrealized profits, because that typically creates sell pressure. Of course, if you're sitting on a ton of gains, it's going to be more likely that you sell than if you're sitting at break even or even a loss. And so this is a huge emotional financial reset for the current market activities, essentially showing that there's buyer support and price support in those higher levels, and people are going to be less likely to sell because they haven't gotten those storybook Bitcoin gains that they've been promised. We also have Ethereum fees completely resetting. You can see here over the last several months, we had these big fee spikes in August, a gas crisis here at the end of August, and then we see obviously the all-time high spike here. But look, we've seen a complete reset here where gas fees have gone down significantly. And as these things happen, the actual UX and user experience of using the blockchain, things like Ethereum and DeFi, goes way up, and the usability of the network goes up, which essentially allows for innovation to start moving and thriving, and prices once again to start building support. But that's not all. We also got the bullish news that the Tether FUD is more or less put on pause or completely dead here, because the New York Attorney General essentially didn't shut them down. There was no huge collapse, implosion of Tether that everyone's been expecting for the last few years, or essentially the constant Tether FUD. I mean, I get DMs about it all the time, and I personally never subscribe to boogeyman theories unless proven to be accurate. Of course, the Tether FUD now looking like a total nothing burger. And what we see here is that this settlement might result in weird things like a New York ban, a New York specific ban. The actual legalities of this are a little unclear, but we're not seeing a complete collapse of Tether here, like many would have liked to believe is possible. So again, this is a huge bullish indicator that Tether is going to continue as usual. So between historical levels being respected, the 3x over prior all-time high, creating a nice long washout in June of last bull run, now potentially in March of this bull run, February and March of this bull run. We also have an implied target here, maybe 350K or thereabouts if we're using an extrapolated mathematical model based on the last particular bull run. We have the SOPR full reset, as well as even Tether. And these are all very bullish and very important fundamental underpinnings that to me make me feel like the market could be reaching an inflection point and ready to at least stabilize. I also wanted to take a second and touch on this, which is a DJ named Blau, who just sold his NFTs of his album for $11.7 million. Now, before everyone cries foul about this, it's important to realize that he added some really important perks to the NFT holders, such as they will actually be able to collaborate with him on a future single, and then the next 5 bidders in line will actually be able to collaborate on one of his upcoming remixes. He also had this leaderboard here where you can see some familiar names: 0xB1, Whale Shark. Of course, Bidder65 took the cake with $3.66666 million. By adding these value adds, by adding these utilities to the tokens, NFTs become far more than digital art. They become access to experiences both in real life and in the digital world that you wouldn't otherwise be able to possess. So big shout out to Blau here for showing that this NFT craze is going to cross over into the mainstream, and I believe in a big way once artists realize that adding utility to these tokens takes it from a 6-figure drop to an 8-figure drop. And once again, just wanting to keep you guys aware of the different movements going on in NFT land, because this is serious business. Well, there you have it. We are repeating history, and Bitcoin looks in line to not only retrace maybe a little bit more from here, but also have an explosive rise from those levels if we are to repeat the cycle of 2017, which it certainly seems like we're on track to do, just under 3x from prior all-time high, and we end up with a very similar looking correction to last time that in that particular case lasted about a month. So maybe we'll be in this chop for the next few weeks. Regardless, what we know is that from those levels, we saw explosive growth on the level of 10x for Bitcoin and hundreds of x's for altcoins. So it's important to realize where we are in the cycle. There's not a single bone in my body that believes that the top is in. Of course, if we break down below 35K or something like that, it would be a different story. But at this particular moment in time, sitting at 43.8, I still see us as very much within the realms of the 2017 historical cycle averages. And that means very good things and a potential hint at a price of around 350K Bitcoin if we are to repeat this same price action. That said, let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think we are repeating history? Is this 2017 all over again? Are we about to get an even bigger mainstream adoption wave Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm always curious what you guys think about these historical comparisons. As always, if you got some value out of this, go ahead, destroy that like button, and remember, each and every comment on this video is entered to win your very own hardware wallet. As always, we're gonna be going deep and showing you guys the most important and newest opportunities in the crypto space, whether that's in altcoins, new NFTs, which I'm gonna start covering on a much more consistent and deep level, because I think it's important that you realize that people are making big money in NFTs, and I wanna help people understand this ecosystem better, whether or not you think it's of long-term value or not. If you guys want that information, all you have to do is subscribe and put that bell notification on, and you'll be made aware whenever I put out new content. With that said, my name's Elio Trades. You can follow me on Telegram or Twitter. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.